All right, I'm Herald sports writer Manny Navarro, joined again here by the decoy Andre Fernandez at Champagnat High School. He's laughing. But what do you think? You think you could help the Champagnat team out?
Unless somebody lights me up over the middle, and then I'm done. One hit, I'm done.
Usually, yeah. One hit and he is done. Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the championship game this week. We'll start off with Champagnat, 2A final against Lakeland Victory Christian. We listened to the teleconference this morning. One interesting stat, and I brought it up to you when we were talking. One common opponent, Coral Springs Christian. These guys beat them 74-0. Victory Christian only beat them by 18 points. So do you take something from that? Do you make your pick off of that, or how do you feel about this game?
Yeah, I mean, you have to take something from it. I mean, you can't go strictly off games because it depends on matchups sometimes, but it definitely, it's kind of glaring because, you know, when you beat a team that handily, they weren't the only ones. A lot of teams beat Coral Springs Christian, not to pick on them, but it kind of shows a little bit of a disparity. And I mean, but I think overall, you can't underestimate this stage you're at right now. At the Citrus Bowl, I've seen teams sometimes come out and crack under pressure. You know, just everything you plan the whole week has to go right. Those first 5 minutes of the game, that first quarter, you got to stay in it. And I think if Champagnat does that, they do have the team to get it done, and I think they can. They just have to survive, I think, that early wave of we're here, look at the stadium, the fans, everything, the whole atmosphere. It's almost like when pro teams get to the Super Bowl and all of a sudden don't look like what they were all those other weeks. If they survive that beginning, I think they're okay.
Well, one thing I will say about Lakeland Victory Christian, I know this is the first-year coach that they got, but I was looking at his history. This guy's won state championships in South Carolina. They're going to be a well-coached team. This is going to be a challenge. Like you said, I think if Champagnat shows up, they got the better athletes, they got the better team. I think they should win. But it all depends on the off factor. You and I have been to Orlando too many times and seen teams struggle with that off factor. All right, let's talk about the 4A game. Booker T. Washington. Mr. Familiar, Jacksonville Bulls, Corky Rogers' team. I mean, we've seen this one now 3 years in a row. What do you think of this matchup?
I mean, you know, Bulls is always a disciplined team. They're well coached. They're going to Corky Rogers is going to get the best out of his team, and it's going to happen whether or not they're playing Booker T or anybody else. But you can't ignore the disparity again in talent there. And those guys, I mean, last year it was a blowout, and I've heard that this Bulls team hasn't been as good. They deserve credit just for even getting there this season, and it's a credit to Rogers and his staff, but Booker T, on top of the fact that they're the better team, they're on a mission. I mean, they took Cocoa apart in that semifinal, and I think at this point there's no stopping them.
Yeah, I'm not sure the Jacksonville Bulls could beat Booker T even if Treon Harris was sitting and watching this game from the stands with you. Exactly. So, I mean, that's the disparity in talent. Booker T is just too good.
Wait a minute, I'll be back in the press box.
You'll have rubbed off the paint and everything?
The face paint and everything, yeah.
Okay, you'll be back up there for that. Okay. All right, so Booker T, we're both picking Booker T to win. Let's move up to 5A. Now we talk about the semifinal games. Plantation American Heritage going on the road to Lake Wales. I was there at Lake Wales a few years ago to see Belen win there. Right. I think this Heritage team is even better than that Belen team.
Absolutely. I mean, they're loaded. I mean, we talked about in the other show about Sonny Michelle, but it's all season we've been saying it's much more than him. It's Isaiah McKenzie, it's Torrance Gibson, it's that line, the linebackers, everybody. And I told you, the fact that they've been tested already on the road and played teams like Central, they're not going to be, you know, too fazed by what they see out there at Lake Wales. I think they're going to state. They're getting back. It'll be the first time since '98, so it's been a while for the Patriots.
Yeah, when I talked with Coach Rumpf at the beginning of the season, the biggest point he made to me was, look, we beefed up our schedule so that when we go on the road or play any important playoff games, we're going to be ready for it. I think they've proven they are, even though it took them a half last week to get going in the regional final. All right, so we're both picking American Heritage to win there. How about the 6A game? Because now Central is minus Joseph Yerby, and they're getting a pretty good Daytona Beach Mainland team, which played Heritage tough earlier in the season. Beat I think it was 6-0 final. So
yeah, I mean it's an opponent they can't underestimate. They actually did beat Mainland a couple of years ago themselves in the playoff game in this round. It was a close game, only by 10, and that's with Joe and Dalvin. But this is a different team, and it hurts not to have Joe, but it's not crippling because Central's still a deep team. They have a tremendous offensive line. Cook is an amazing athlete. They're going to use him every which way, not just running the ball. He's going to play defense, I'm sure, anything they have to do to get it done. But watch out for some of these young guys like Malik Adams and those running backs to contribute when they have to. And Keith Reed just had a great game, four touchdown passes. So if they can throw the ball, they should be fine.
All right, we're both picking Central to win there. I think this one's going to be really tight, though. I expect that to be the close game of the week. Over in 8A, South Dade, they're hosting the Palm Beach Gardens team that knocked off Miramar, and I'm a little nervous. I've been nervous for South Dade the whole season.
Yeah, I've been more the South Dade believer, I think, because you know it's one of the best teams they've ever had in terms of just their depth, their balance on offense. The defense is starting to play well, and I think being at Harris Field at home in that atmosphere, I think it's going to help because you take Palm Beach Gardens out of that environment they were at last week when they beat Miramar. And they'll get enough plays done. I think this is a historic year for them, and they take it the distance.
I'm going to show a little bit of faith in Khalil Randall. You've been talking about what a great quarterback this kid is. I think that's what ultimately hurt Miramar last week was the quarterback play. They probably didn't get enough of that. I think Render's probably a better playmaker, and that'll be the difference in this game. All right, so
Hopefully it doesn't rain.
And hopefully it doesn't rain. For Chrissy Di Nicola, I guess we'll be down there.
Yeah.
All right, that wraps it up for this week. We'll see you in Orlando.
That's right.